For me, especially now with the pandemic, everyone is, afraid of doctors or not trustworthy, trusting in doctors. So when they see someone with a warm smile, really offering advice, just reminding them sometimes of the things that they forget, like getting these proper vitamins in, that's what makes a brand say, hey, her following is truly engaged with her, and we want to definitely, benefit off that and add value to them. It's not like I'm selling them something I don't believe in or use myself. So I think it's also good that if you are thinking about a brand you want to work with, like you, Nike, say for instance, you wear them, you've been a long time supporter of them, that's who you should align with, not just because they have $1 billion.
Hey, back. We are on the Odd Shift podcast with somebody great, because we always bring great people to the episodes. It's been a blast for me to kind of, these last, we'll call them 6-7 episodes, to progress into people doing some really, really cool things. Not to say other people weren't, but I was like, you know what, let's be honest. There are people that are playing at a different level, in a kind of a different echelon. And this person most definitely is. The cool thing is they are a collection of cool things that honestly wouldn't even all go together. Like a pharmacist. And then from there, they're an entrepreneur, fitness enthusiast, they're a podcast host, social media influencer. The back ones do, but the front one, a pharmacist, doesn't actually. However, they found a way to turn this into an amazing career. One where they have been able to take the world essentially by storm in what they've been creating. They got an app coming out later on, but they've partnered with companies like First Form, Buff Bunny, actually created something of their own brand called Muse Labs. So we're going to find out all about this stuff, a kid's skincare thing, like all the cool things. What I love about this is going to be a story and a conversation where you get to really find out what the whole podcast is about, how successful people make shift happen. And it's the journey that excites, and I'm sure it's going to kind of create some weirdness, but you should be able to extract something you can apply to your life. And if you listen well enough, you will do that. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on the show Dr. Robin B. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I could say great. Good's all right, but I'm doing great. I mean, you can't be bad when you get to meet cool people. Like it's a fun part of my day. This is one of the joy, because before this I was wearing different clothes, sitting here filming stuff for courses. Quite literally, it's right there. I'm not even joking. So I said, I'd bring the desk back down and I hop on. So here's the question I always start with. Take it wherever you'd like to take it. But here's the question. Say I'm walking around LA, where you're from, and I sit down next to this beautiful woman, you turn and start talking to me. Why should I listen to you?
Oh, great question. I love that opener. The reason why you should start listening to me is because I live by experience, like I am a product of my environment. I have lived and I've tried everything, as you can see. But it's not just about, actually trying everything. It's about succeeding in those fields and really staying consistent, right? Because that's how we become successful, is through discipline and consistent. So whenever I talk, whenever I use my words, because you have to be very, cognizant of the way that you use your words. But if I'm going to talk to you and offer advice to you, it's going to be about something I know. Something that I've lived, something that I've seen up close, or else I'll save my comment.
Yeah,
so
smart.
You'll probably hear something from experience.
I like that. And that's where it needs to come from, because if not, then you're just talking about things, you read the book, and there's just there's something different from information and application that people, they miss out on. And you obviously have been a person that just on the sheer resume that you have, even you have the Dose show, like all these cool things, you're doing that, right? The experience is the kind of thing that I think is where we find the best lessons. So I want to do this thing where we go back in the time, right? We're gonna what do they call it? Back to the Future, Doc McFly it. I want to know the roots of you, because all this cool stuff, it's all there, and I always look at this, and you always know that where somebody is at right now, it doesn't always match where they started. And I think for someone to really grasp the power and the weight of what you've done, I want to take us back to like the upbringing. Where did it come from? Who are you? Like, where did Dr. Robin B begin?
What's my story? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, all the good stuff.
Yeah, so it's so funny because yesterday was MLK, even though this episode's going to go
later, yeah.
way past that.
It's all good.
Yeah, and I actually volunteer my time to give back to some students, kind of mentor them. And this was like a virtual session with a bunch of students. And I was
Okay.
asked, like, a student was like, I can't assume that pharmacy was your first, idea of what you wanted to do. Because usually it's like, I want to be a doctor, mom, I want to be a
Yeah.
nurse. So being a pharmacist, that's very, specified. And how did you come into that? So again, it goes back to living by experience. I threw myself in everywhere. I shadowed doctors, dentists, nurses, like every single person I could to see what fit my lifestyle in the future, right? And I love medicine, always been great at science, not so much English, not so much these other topics. And so, I knew that I wanted to have my college degree in something in the science and arts.
Yeah.
So that's where it kind of started with biology at Syracuse University.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The orange men. I'm a duck. I'm from the other side of the thing. I get it though. I loved chemistry. Stoichiometry was a big thing for me. So you got this. Now keep on going. I don't want to cut you off. Keep rolling.
No problem. So that's just the whole doctor side. And just by living, I kind of started working as a pharmacy technician across the street from my parents' house. Got a feel for it, like the lifestyle, like that you could actually have patient interaction. And still, people don't understand pharmacists are free healthcare, essentially. You don't have to book an appointment with a ppharmacist, but you can still get that information. Hey, doc, I have something on my back. Can you check it out? You can actually go into your local pharmacy. Yes.
I did. How did I get this far in my life and not know you could do that? Like, hey, doc, I got this growth, man. Let's get it. It stinks. Can you take a look? You guys will do that? Pharmacists will actually take, wow.
And that's what the doctor is in. And that's why I'm so proud of it, because it's still a 4-year process after bachelorate. So it's a 10-year in total, of me in school and being educated in that. So that's the, I use both sides of my brain, but that's the scientific side. On the art side and the creativity, I come from a family of artists. And so arts and graphic design, website building, all of that has been in my blood as well. So as I grew up, social media came naturally. And I think there's a difference between influencers and being influential. Yeah. So I'm really intentional about my content. And I guess everything that I put out, I want to add value through some sort of product or service. So that's why now I have the fitness app. Gotcha. Now I work with all these brands that give people discounts so that they can feel motivated in the gym. And then, the podcast, that's another way to add information. So all of these are just subsidiaries around just the whole Dr. Robin B brand.
I like that. Now, I'm assuming you still practice pharmaceutical, like, and that what would you call it? Not pharmaceutical. Is that what it is?
It's pharmacy.
Pharmacy. Yeah, that's great. Is it like where? Is like at like a CVS? Where are you doing it at?
Yeah, at like a retail pharmacy.
Nice.
Just because you can work in the hospital, but just like getting your MD, you could do residency with pharmacy, and you can specialize into pediatric, cancer.
Yeah.
You could do all those things with just pharmacy. But
that's cool.
For me, I was like, enough is enough. I have so many businesses going on. I don't necessarily need to be in the hospital. I'm fine with retail.
Yeah, that's cool. Seriously, it's one of those things where I do as I think back to all the different aspects. I remember people like they would go to school for pharmacy. Like I hear it's good money too. Like being a pharmacist, you make like you make some good money. You're a doctor essentially still, so it's not like you're not going to. What got you to the point of saying I want to step out of this though? Was it just always? Did you always know, even during school to be a doctor, that you were gonna step out and do social, or was it just something where that happened? Because that's not. I don't know many social media people that are like, yeah, I'm also a pharmacist.
It's so funny because I have equal amount of experience in both.
Oh.
I am as much of a social media influencer as I am a pharmacist. And it's because I did everything simultaneous from high school till now. So by that, I mean, okay, so when you're applying to any type of health professional school, you need to have leadership. You need to have community service hours, tons and tons of them. So I thought about something. Let me create a business, a clothing line, where I could be the owner, so that's a leadership role. Yeah. And then I can use it as a platform for community service. So I started that all the way back when I was 18. And so I had this vintage clothing. It was so hot, vintage clothing back then in DC. And so I created that line, and I did so many community service efforts, like raised money for Haiti, did a lot of toy drives, a lot
Yeah.
of, disaster relief programs. And so that was appealing to the school. So I would say to anyone out there who is trying to become a health professional, they really look at your extracurricular. They want
Yeah.
to see that you're a well-rounded individual. So I took that and I ran with it. And now I'm holistic in the way
Gotcha.
that I do things.
All the things, which is what we need to do. I think there's definitely a lesson in there, humanity wise, of like there's going to be I like that you didn't get stuck in one box. You wanted to explore and expand. Like now, as a kid growing up, did you always have that curiosity to expand and explore? It was a family thing, so it was always ingrained in you.
If I don't do one, then I feel not fulfilled.
Huh.
You know, so so if I go too long with just in science and just
Yeah.
being in my 9 to 5, I'll be like, oh, what about my clothing line and my Muse
Yeah.
skincare? And then back to your other question, as far as whether it just happened, that's another thing. It actually did. So I remember going into pharmacy school my first day. I was like, I have to get rid of my socials. Like, I do not want the school to find out. The school that I went to was a Christian school.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was Seventh-day Adventist, and I didn't want to get in trouble for any, risque content or anything like that.
Yeah. That's a pretty stringent, religion.
Very, very, yeah. Even vegan food only. It was very, very strict. So I deleted my account, made a new one,
Yeah.
and went viral on the new page.
How?
Because I posted something and a video, and it went viral.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, that pharmacy chick. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and it was like my first year.
Can't get away from it. The awesomeness can't be contained. Yeah, try to hide your light and just keeps on shining through. Did it affect anything with the school?
No.
Oh, that's
I'm
good.
here now.
Well, then in hindsight, did you have to cancel the first one?
That one, very funny. I kept it, and it has 50,000 followers on it, but I don't know what to do with it.
Oh man. Well, I mean, I don't know what to do with it either. I got nothing for you. I mean, you can make
But
some.
I'm like, I wish I would have kept that page. What was the point?
Yeah, I mean, you could always. Yeah, I don't know. I feel you've already grown something else. It's good as a story, though. I like that story. It's a fun one.
Yeah.
So you got this stuff, and eventually branch out. What do you think it was? Because a lot of people sitting here right now, I'm like, oh, that'd be dope. Like, I want to accidentally have a video go viral. Like, it's not a normal thing to do. What are some of the things you do differently, you believe, besides just being intentional? Like, what are the intentions when it comes to you putting content out? Because here's what I do know. At the end of the day, most people are like leery about always putting something out and pushing a product and stuff because they feel like, people are going to get bothered and fed up. How do you do it in a way where people actually enjoy being sold, we'll call it, about products? Maybe it's not sold's the right word, though.
No, that's a really good question. And I think it becomes important to create organic content.
Okay.
So you don't want to come off salesy. And I think videos, prior to TikTok, I was creating those style videos. So those are the ones that went viral. The quick, you get to capture the person's personality in a world full of, what's it called? Catfishes. They get to see that you're real. There's a lot of things. They want to see you up close. So I think videos are the best way to translate who you are.
Yeah.
And that's all that people want to do through social media. They're not just following you just to follow you. They want to pretend like you're their friend. They want to get to know you.
Yeah.
So with the new wave of reels being a thing, I would suggest anyone out there, if you want to go viral really fast, using those viral sounds, getting using those hashtags, and just having something either funny or educational to teach.
I like that. And it's funny you say that. We have a thing we're doing too here coming pretty soon where I sat back. I was like, what's something we do? And we work in a space of like guilt. It's one of these things, one of the anchors parts of our side. People have guilt for whatever reason, right? Whether it's personal or professional. And I found like, I've always desired to act. Don't ask me why. I have no clue. I'm like, I want to get in a movie one day. But I was like, what if I become like guilt guy? Like, you ever seen the Mayhem for like Allstate? Like so I'm like, what if I just become the guilt dude? So I bought t-shirts, legit. And I'm like, it's going to be poking fun at the guilt we have for stupid things as guilt, making fun of Anthony. So like, I feel like it's good to know that I'm in.
Go viral for sure.
I'm a little pocket of something there. So I do want to stay in the same path, but I want to go down more of the actual things you've created and unpack the journey of creating them, right? So you had now, like, you got Muse Labs. I'd love to know, like, what is that brand and how is it what was the building of it to get it to where it's at now?
Yeah, great question. So I had the vision for it the first year of pharmacy school as well.
Okay.
I think that, some people go to pharmacy school to be a pharmacist, but some go to help the industry in a different way, right? And so that was my take on it, is that I can utilize my knowledge of ingredients, of drugs, and actually formulate my own proprietary products that could actually transform people, because that's what I'm here to do. I'm a busy professional, and so I want to help transform busy professionals' lives. We don't have a lot of time to dedicate to self-care, to fitness, and so I want to kind of, streamline those routines, whether it's skincare or fitness.
Yeah.
So with Muse Labs, I actually made it fitness focused. So it's quick, it's straight to the point, and it keeps your skin clear for blemishes, oil buildup, all these things. So I came out, my first product was face wipes, right? Because I wanted to have a market of unisex. So I wanted to offer it to men and women.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Men are going to be, really excited about face wipes after the gym. You put it in your bag on the way home from work. And then that's a quick way to make sure you're staying clean, especially with the maskne going on and the acne. Yeah, so I created that product. And then now we're developing new product lines associated with the fitness world too, like before you go to the gym and after you go to the gym, what to use on your face so you get rid of all that sweat, that buildup.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I could use that for sure. I'm always, when I go on stage, I get that little shiny film, no lie. Before I got on, I got a towel. My wife's like, where are you going? I have a towel. It's on the other side of the house. I don't know why it's there. It just was there. I remember it was there. I don't like leave. It's not like a towel I leave there for this reason, but I was I knew it was there. So I'm like wiping my face because I know I'm gonna get on this and be like glistening. So I'm like, I'm not trying to be glistening, but I have never thought to buy wipes. It's never, never crossed. I'm about to go find some of these Muse wipes for my face and be less greasy on stage and on the podcast. So you got this thing and you build it up. What were some of the headaches in building it, right? Because everybody's trying to build some kind of brand nowadays. If they're watching this, they're at least in that pocket of like, it'd be cool to create something, but they hear horror stories, but they don't hear the joy stories at the same time. So we have this level of like, all right, I got this joy, we're doing this. Like, what are some of the stages you had to go through to get this business up and running as it is?
Yeah, I would say this has been the toughest journey. Just because with everything else that I do, making time to devote to a business, that's a full-time job.
Yeah, it is.
25/8. And so I'm realizing the importance of a team and a solid team, because I've switched so many different people in and out. And so ultimately it's just me. Yeah. And I run everything from top to even my socials to my app. Everything is me. And I'm realizing in this year that it's time that I
delegate.
Build a team. Thank you. Yeah. That I build a team that's, competent, able to help, and then also someone that believes in the vision, because that's the number one thing.
I agree.
When people, try to work for you, but they don't believe in you, it's not a great relationship. So I would say out there trying to start, you can't do it alone. But definitely get your hands dirty so that you understand how the different processes work, and then get someone to do it.
No, I like it. I agree. There's this level. So the weird thing is this whole year, like I'm excited because I finally, the back end of last year, I added more to my team so I could do less, but not less in terms of life overall, but less of the stuff that they could do and then more of what I want to do, which actually benefits the bit. How do you know when it's time to bring a team on? Like, is it like a window of time? Because I'm assuming it's the first time you've done it, or maybe it is. But when can someone sit back and go, it's time to bring a team person on?
Yeah, it's when you want to scale. Okay. I'd say, if you can't fulfill that many orders, that's the first thing. You need to go and find a fulfillment center or your cousin that can send the orders out,
Yeah.
So I would say if you're doing a product business, that'll probably be your first thing. Like, these orders are getting out of hand. And then also when you want to add different aspects, like you want a newsletter or something like that, you're going to need a marketing person. So just depending on the scale that you're trying to go determines when you need someone.
And then here's one of the things too, is it sounds good when I'm going to scale, but then there's always that, like my wife, she has three businesses, 4 locations, and they're similar in what they do, but oh my gosh, she got a person in place to do the things she can't let it go. It's hilarious. It's hilarious and frustrating. I just sit back
like
and
a woman.
Right, she's like, she's like, I want to retire. Like, all right, then do it. And then she did it, and then she's like, can't do it. And I'm like, woman, you got this. So how does somebody let go? Are you still battling that too?
Yeah, that's challenging. Those are your babies, Yeah. But I think the person who can, have detachment from those things is going to be the one that can be successful, because there's so many other things out here to conquer. You can't hold on for too long. Yeah. And you did that. She did that.
She did. Hell yeah. I'm so proud of what she did. I, on the other hand, when the team came in, they could do it. I'm like, I'm done with it. I legit I'm done with this. I'm all, and it works better that way because now I'm not micromanaging. I don't slow things down.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do, like, hey, can you do this? Like, yeah, and I go do that thing, and then we're all moving at a fast pace. But it is. I think this is like the third go around of building a team. The first time, I didn't have SOPs. I had no idea what to tell them to do. So they're like coming in, building their own business and my business because I'm paying them, but they don't. I'm not even guiding them. So yeah.
That happens often. That happens very often.
It does.
But, you learn, you live and you learn, and realize that that's another thing is if you're going to bring someone on, make sure you have your SOPs, make sure you have your timeline and expectations and metrics, because people will come and have nothing. You won't see what they could bring to the table because you don't know how to measure it.
True.
So I think it's really important.
How do you create those for yourself? Like, I know I make those. I'm curious, how would you, if you said, hey, I'm going to bring somebody on, like, and you're like, hey, you got this job. How do you get somebody set up to do that job?
So I know this is like everyone has it, but like Google Workspace, they have amazing Google Docs, right? And they have a lot of templates out there, especially even for SOPs. There's also Lucid.
Really?
Yeah, Lucid .app. That's another website with tons and tons of charts, SOPs, templates. And so I use those two platforms to kind of create my flow.
Mm-hmm.
And then also just having that weekly standing call with someone who's coming on, having a kickoff meeting, letting them know about your product, and just giving deadlines, like saying, hey, not to bother you, but if you can have this done by Friday, that'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
Just not being too nice, but not too harsh.
Yeah, totally get that. And just so anybody doesn't know, SOP is a standard operating procedure, people. I just realized I didn't know what that was for a long time. People are like, SOPs, I'm like, I know what it is. I had no clue. But at least, I get that. And I do agree, like, I like the refinement process. What I've always told people is if you have no idea how to make these things, because I didn't even know they had them on Google, like templates. I've made them all from scratch. I was like, what do I do? And I would write 1, 2. It was very frustrating and long. But at one point, I was like, when I just have somebody follow me and then write down what I do, and then it's there, and then now you got it. So that might be an idea for people out there saying, I want to scale but don't know how. Maybe have somebody shadow you as an intern, write everything down, and then now you have the SOP of what that task is. And then, like Robin said, like, you just let them do it, and then you kind of nudge them a little bit. I find rhythm's a big piece. I do have that weekly standing call. What's your like rhythm for how the business runs? And then I want to know about your life rhythm, because with all these things you do, I'd love to know what a day in the life looks like.
Yeah, so I think that, when you start a position or when you have someone come on, you could feel like an overachiever. You want to get things done so fast, but you have to be realistic about a timeline. And then definitely splitting it up to quarters, right? You have a business, you have Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4, and you can split it up per month. Mm-hmm. My first step would be to say, hey, let's look over the calendar, the events calendar. What's going on in the world this year? It's Super Bowl. And depending on your business,
Olympics,
right? Valentine's Day, I don't know. You may sell lingerie or cards. I don't know. But these things could be important to your business. And once you map that out, you could say, okay, well, we can have campaigns centered around these certain things. But just having grace, just saying, okay, this week, this is me just getting that SOP together. This is me getting that plan, the templates. I think templates will save you a lot of time as well. Yeah. Like creating email templates, outreach, DM. Automating your life essentially is like the goal.
It always is, yeah.
So that's to my question, to the second question, how do I get through the flow of life, is through automating as much as I can. I know a lot of people have these community platforms, Discord, Community, all these other platforms. And that's really important because you still want to stay connected to people. You don't want to just, hey, this dropped, and then you just go ghost. You have to be consistent. You have to keep people engaged in everything that you do. So that's nice. Now,
for you, is that something where, this is actually a lesson I'm trying to teach my son. So I'm going to ask the question after I explain what I explained to him. So the other day, like, we're talking about he's going to college next year. He's looking at schools, and there's certain things he needs to do consistently. And we tell him what to do. And the moment he feels the emotion of it, I go, if you feel the emotion, it's great. You need to now go and write this down, because you can't trust the emotion's going to be there every moment of the day. You will choose the path of least resistance. So for you, knowing you have all these things to get done, do you have like a regimented like schedule you follow? Is it something where like you do you operate off of emotion? Like, how do you flow in that space?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I feel like you can get very passionate when you come up with an idea,
Hmm.
and you can feel like you want to overachieve, but you have to give yourself that time.
Yeah.
You have to be like, okay, this is happening. Oh, I want a new shoe line. You know you have the manufacturers, everyone's ready to go, but say, okay, this is probably a 3-month project,
Hmm.
realistically, for
Yeah.
me to have marketing ready, for me to have an email list of clients. I think that it's really important that you just kind of build it out.
Yeah.
As far as my personal schedule, it does vary because as new projects come on, you have new standing calls, you have new
Hmm.
different things going on, like the podcast.
Yeah.
I could be more consistent with it.
The dose
Like
show.
you, I really, yes, the Dose Show.
Yeah.
You're really killing it, and that is something that's admirable. But as things pile on, those type of things slip away. So it's
True.
really about maybe when you create your schedule, let's say you leave space for the unexpected.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a day or a few hours a day that you can actually have calls that time, like new calls. So that's what I would say.
I like it. I call it my creative days. Those are like Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah,
We're
gotta
speaking
have
kind of the same language in that aspect. Because I tell people it's like release valve days. Days where, because things happen, man. Something pops up, and I had this specific thing to do at 12 o'clock on Tuesday, and all of a sudden, that ain't gonna happen. So like, I can't not get it done. So I move things around into that Wednesday, Thursday, and I go, okay, I'm not gonna leave this week feeling like a complete loser because I got a space for it. And then sometimes I'll like middle of the day, I got a popcorn machine you can't see, but I'll make popcorn. I'm dead serious. I sit here, I got a couch and a TV, and I was like, I'm done for the day. I'll kick my feet up and I'll eat popcorn and watch TV. My wife comes home like, did you eat popcorn for lunch again? I said, yes, I did. 100% is what I got done.
good fiber in there.
What's that?
Has a good source of fiber.
It does, right? And we're doing plant-based right now for our 75 hard. So technically it's a plant, and it's coconut oil and like salt. So there's nothing bad in there. But I mean, anything, too much of anything is not going to be good for you. I do want to talk about one of the things that you partner with two big companies, and First Form and Buff Bunny. I know First Form guys, the CEO, I know, Sal, or the president, sorry. He sent my family a whole bunch. I got more First Form than I know what to do with. Quite literally, we have I take their pills in the morning, and my pee is like neon yellow. I'm assuming it's okay. I'm assuming.
You're like, I think it's working.
But the gear, so I went to Oregon. I'm a Nike guy. And this gear, it rivals Nike. I'm not going to lie. The First Form stuff is legit, people. How'd you get to that partnership, right? Because you were a pharmacist, got in the fitness space. Like, how did that connect?
Right. So I think it was having that pharmacy degree for them.
Okay.
Because they're a supplement company first, like you just said.
Mm-hmm.
And so they really, the process that they make their products in, the low temperature, all of these things make it more bioavailable to the body.
Yeah.
And so they knew that if they had me on, that they would be able to utilize my platform to explain and educate those things, because that's really important to them. And then, as you know, honestly, my fitness journey is kind of new. I'm like 6-8 months in.
Oh, really?
But I took it by storm because I was an ex-athlete. And so, getting back in shape was easy for an ex-athlete, but I took a hard hit during the pandemic, really hard.
I did too.
And I gained a lot of weight.
Oh yeah, me too. It happens though. When I was playing the NFL, the most I got to was 240 pounds, and I was like a 10 to 12% body fat. And then I caught myself, I think it was December 2020, and I was 250 pounds. Right? Oh man! And I had to lose like 37 to get to normal.
You were fine though. It was like you, huh?
Oh, it was. I had a beard. My wife hates it. I had a beard.
Okay.
I was. She says, "Okay." It was not a good look. And if you go look at my Instagram, the before and after pictures, it was legit portly to like. Yeah, I didn't. But I get it. That's the difficult thing. So 6 to 8 months. That's actually. Well, first off, what sport did you compete in?
Oh, I was soccer.
Oh, really?
I was a soccer girl all day, left forward.
I don't know anything about that, but it sounds good. My wife did soccer. She was a soccer player, but she didn't play in college. Did you play in college?
No, I stopped. Got nerdy.
Gotcha.
I was going the doctor route.
I got it. My wife did the same thing. She went and got her master's in special education. It's something about soccer players. You guys, I don't know. Not every one of them wants to go play college. It's very interesting. But you guys she's a baller, and just like you in life, killing it in what she does. Very type A regimen. She can't sit still. It's like the thing that you hate about someone's also the thing you love, like Like for a comedian, I'm sure that a comedian probably people love their funny, but then it's like not all the time, man. Like we're fighting. Anyways, weird tangent. So you get to the point of reaching out and getting in touch with them. How did you get someone to attach to your brand? Like what is it you think that's special about you that has a brand that's like $1 billion company go, we're going to attach our name to Robin? Because that I think is something that people, if you really want to be able to elevate faster, attaching to bigger brands, it's big, but they may not always want to attach to you. What was the process you went through to get them to go like, we want to work with you?
Right. That's a good point. I think that if you represent, it's what you represent. If you represent more than just, a person, it's not about a title per se, but if you know a specific field well enough and you educate your following, they want to attach to that because people are listening organically and they know that you already create content that make people want to listen, and so for me, especially now with the pandemic, everyone is, afraid of doctors or not trusting in doctors. So when they see someone with a warm smile, really offering advice, just reminding them sometimes of the things that they forget, like getting these proper vitamins in, that's what makes a brand say, hey, her following is truly engaged with her and we want to definitely, benefit off that and add value to them. It's not like I'm selling them something I don't believe in or use myself.
Yeah.
So I think it's also good that if you are thinking about a brand you want to work with, like you, Nike, say for instance, you wear them, you've been a long-time supporter of them. That's who you should align with, not just because they have $1 billion.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I'm curious. So whenever you reach out to them, let's say, 6 to 8 months in, was it at the beginning of the journey to fitness or was it after you'd already kind of got in? Like when?
Yeah, they reached out to me.
Oh, look at you. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, because I think the virality, the engagement, just seeing, I pop up probably on their side. So that's what I would say is continue to create that viral content.
Gotcha.
So you can be seen. Yeah. And then, of course, if no one's biting and you really want a company you want to work with, there's no problem in reaching out.
Yeah, no shame.
But you got to, you know that the allegiance is on your side when you actually get
reach out. Oh, 100%. Yeah. It's always the thing. Like, yeah, you have that space, but no shame, man. You want that? Go get that. That's cool. So you were just creating. Did you wear their stuff? Were you hashtagging them? Was there any intention for them, or they just found you randomly?
Random.
That's cool. Random. And then now when they found you, was it like you were already back in shape, or was it the journey of getting in shape that?
Oh, I was already in fitness.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But what I would say is that because of my platform to transform busy professionals' lives, we don't have a lot of time. And also the movements and the workouts that I do transform you like quick. Yeah. Right. So that's why I'm proud that it's only taken me 6 to 8 months to reach here, because you can do the same. It doesn't have to take a lot of time out of your day or a lot of months. If you give your body 3 months, like 3 to 6 months, you can transform.
I agree.
Just need discipline and dedication.
100%. So, I lost I think it was 37 pounds in 75 days.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
75 hard. See, that's a part of First Form.
Yeah.
Just do that alone will actually see a transformation.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do good stuff in it. You could the one drawback to it is you can essentially pick whatever you want. So if somebody wanted to pick, like, I'm going to walk twice a day. I mean, technically it's right, but you ain't going to get as good a result. So like, I'm going to have an all popcorn diet. Like, technically you're following a diet, but it ain't going to be. So with you obviously, so you've gone through this journey, you've created so many things, and now you're like, I'm in fitness, right? So much so you're partnered with these big brands, also Buff Bunny. So how did this come to be like, you know what, I'm going to take it to the next level and do app? Because I think it's a genius idea. I think the way that the social world is progressing, like we have an app that got created, it's progressing into a community. But the first thing is to have a tool that's the foundation of it. When you were creating this app, which is obviously, I would love you to share what it is, what it really is about, but then what are the future kind of like goals with this thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have been so excited about this app. I've been working on it for a long time. And the whole premise behind it is that I want people to be able to have the transformation that I did. Just like your first question, why should people believe you? It's because I live by example, and people can see that transformation clear as day. So, when I was in pharmacy school, it wasn't that I didn't take anything from it. I took discipline from it. The study techniques, being able to, follow a strict schedule.
Yeah.
I apply that in my fitness journey. Now I know that's hard for some, but I apply my discipline in everything that I do.
Yeah.
So I definitely I know that a big part of discipline is also having accountability partners, of having motivation, having a trainer, someone there in your corner. So that's why I created the app, because I'm like, not only am I giving you the workouts, I'm right there coaching you. I'm doing the workouts. I demonstrate them all on the app one by one. I also have a chat where they can communicate with me. We could do live calls. There's so many other benefits to the app besides simply just the workout.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, that's going to be one of the most important pieces of it, because we all got a bunch of apps, but this app, if it's going to be used, has to be valuable. But I think anything is, and maybe this is the thing that I think people don't grasp, which is really helpful with having a tool like this, is the thinking part. Like I call it the lost puppy experience, which is I got to go to the gym and I know I'm going to go there and I know that I want to work out. But then I walk into the gym and I look at this sea of machines and people go, I don't know what to do today. So there's this anxiety that is now attached to showing up at the gym. So it's like, maybe I should do squats or should I do sit-ups? How many sets and reps? What should you know? And then there's this. Then it's like, oh, so now the next time you're sitting at home, the thought of that moment is overwhelming. You don't go.
You don't want to go back.
But what you're providing is this tool. Go look. Hey, turn your brain off and just show up.
Yeah.
I got you.
Just put in your headphones, plug into the app. Even if there's a Spotify playlist on there, but if you don't know how to use the equipment, I'm demonstrating it.
Yeah.
The proper technique on, how to do a proper squat. And then there's also mindset coaching on there. So I'll sit here like this and I just say, hey guys, get your mind right. And I talk about different topics because that's, like you said, that's very important into preparing for working out is the right mindset.
Yeah. It is. And I like that you're putting all stuff together. You're a step ahead of me in that aspect. The team, we've been actually having conversations, a couple segments of the team about the next stage, I think, is having an app, right? It's having the access to people that's off the social platform, essentially owning the community. But also I think it provides more of a value because when you get all these platforms, you can watch my video, watch my thing. And then it's like the next video about this cat that was chasing a dog and then they're off, and people are like, why can't I stay focused? Well, because it's feeding you different stuff. And so as opposed to being algorithmically engaged or entertained, when they go to an app like yours or one now they're in a space where it's being curated to give you what you need in the manner and the format that you need it. And now you start getting what I think a lot of people want, which is actual results. I think that's the result. I think people are past the point of the opportunity being the pacifier. It's all here, but now it's not really too much information. What do I do? Clear it up for me. Dr. Robin can help me out. I like that you're making it that way.
Nutrition guide is there as well. There's so many things right there on that, like you said. And I'm focused on holistic health. So it's not just, I want to prevent you from having to come to me as a pharmacist.
Yeah.
Okay?
That makes sense.
Drugs are to bring people back to life or to cure illnesses. But let's be preventative.
Yeah.
Even with COVID, we need to do the measures and things that they're not putting on the news. So that we can stay healthy, keep our immune system up, and physical activity is really big in keeping your immune system up. So this platform is basically me embodied in one. It's mind, body, soul.
Yeah.
First Form is on the app. You can purchase it from there. Buff Bunny, everything is there.
That's cool. I like that. It's all combined together. It's funny you went into a state. I'm like, I didn't think about it that way. Because 80% I want to say of deaths in America are attached to chronic issues. And chronic means preventable. And typically the prevention comes from just moving and being healthy so you don't need. It's interesting the way you frame that because in my head I'm like, oh yeah, you kind of are. It's like the chiropractor that loves CrossFit. It's kind of a weird thing. It's like this weird. I know.
It's like contra. Yeah, it's definitely. But I think that if I can help you on both ends of the spectrum, when you're healthy and when you're ill, that's all I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. You're helping in a multitude of different ways. Because, even then, 10 or less % of Americans have gym memberships and are working out consistently. So to be able to serve people at all capacities is kind of a cool thing. You gotta, what do they call it? A monopoly on cool right now. I like this. I like what you got going up and set up. The dose show. I almost want to say the dope. You should make the dope show. So if anybody wanted to find out more about this app, where they can find you, all that good stuff, where would we send them?
Okay, so the app specifically is drrobinbapp.com, and it's just DR. You don't have to spell out doctor. It's just drrobinb.com or app.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you just go to drrobinb.com, you'll also see all my other links. I have travel. I have a hosted trip to Bali this August. I have the Dough Show where you guys, I have this learn and burn segment where people are working out and I'm asking them the podcast questions while they're working out.
That's
and
cool.
We're seeing if they tap out. So it's like the hot ones
Yeah.
mixed with the Kevin Hart show, all that. Super fun.
Cold as balls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So much fun. And then you can find me on Instagram at dr.robinb.
I like it. I like you got a lot of things in the you're moving. I think the thing for me is I'm in this. Do you have any kids? Are you married?
No.
Yeah, that might help. Now
That's probably why.
I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm not the naive guy like you can't do that if you have kids. It's doable. I operate at a quick pace, but I also have like this stage I'm in now where I'm like seasoned a dad. But I love you're moving on so many things. But it's cool to have a person who's doing more than they're talking about doing. That's what I like. You're doing, because too many people talk about dreams and don't get them done. But I do have some aspirations for some. I have one other weird show, and everything else I do. And we have the Guilt Guy stuff's coming. It's in the schedule. Got the show. We're moving there. But there's this one idea. My last name's Trucks. And if you've ever been like out and about, people like if you ever just park a truck and sit in the bed, you just sit there on the tailgate and just talk about whatever. And so I want to do this thing where I travel to different states or countries and get a truck. We go to a field. I get a little charcoal barbecue. We cook up some stuff, and I call it the Trucks Talks. Yeah. And we just talk about God knows what on the back of a truck in the field.
Come to Cali. Or, well, you're in Cali.
I'll come south to Cali. I'll come down to LA, give me like a low rider, you know what I'm saying, on the little thing in the back,
right,
and spinners.
Switch up the car.
We could bounce.
Did that? On Netflix, it was I don't know.
I was down there I got an award recently at this, I don't know what the thing was, but it's this one for like I'm a former foster kid, so it's about telling my story. And the strip we were on, like I remember going out for a break, I don't know what it was, and there was a whole just stream. It was like one of those like, just cruises, and all the cars are bouncing. I'm like, they still do this out here. Yeah. Like they bounce it and all the hydraulics. I was like, that's cool. So I'm gonna come to LA. I'll get me a nice lowrider truck. I'm gonna do that. It's my weird idea for a TV show similar to Cold as Balls. And then here's one of my segments. It'll be grilling you. Get it? Because the grill of a truck, and I got a grill, and I'm going to grill you. Oh.
Hey, we're going to have grilled food? Let's go.
I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. I feel good. Final question. Yes. Ready for it? All right, here's the question. What promise did God make to the world when he created you?
Wow. I love that question. I believe God made the promise of representation as a Black female doctor, still living her life. That's another thing, because a lot of young women, they get scared from the profession because they don't feel like they can be themselves. Yeah. And so I'm living truth that you can successfully, graduate, be a doctor, and also live out all your dreams and use all of his talents that he gave you all in one, and be a Renaissance woman. It's possible in this day and age. You can be anything. Don't let anyone put you in a box. Use everything and just give him the glory.
I like it. I like it a lot. I do agree. I'm kind of the same boat, right? I'm a Black man doing my thing in this weird, crazy world. I grew up in an all-white family, so I have weird dynamics, but I've always just like, it's always like, what if, what if? And I go do my thing. And here's, maybe you can attest to this. People ask me a lot, why aren't you more of a, an outspoken, person in the realm of like the racial dynamics? And, and I'm like, you know what? There's a person doing it. There are a lot of people doing it. I have a great deal of respect. I love that they're doing it. But sometimes it also holds a power to do the thing that they're trying to give us the ability to do. So I go and do this thing. I talk, I speak, I coach, I share. I may not go like, look at me, everybody, I'm a Black guy on stage,
Wow.
But you notice that I'm a Black guy on this stage. And that's my way of doing it. I live my life in full everything. Some people like it, some don't. But then I become the example of what everybody's fighting to have done. It's just my perspective.
No, I definitely relate to that in more than one way, because when I think about pharmacy, you can go to 1 million doctors' pages and it's going to be all information about drugs or about health. Or you can come to mine who's actually, living out those things that they're fighting for. And I agree with that. So, yes.
Cool. Kindred. I like it. I like it. Well, thank you seriously so much for hanging out on this Tuesday, the day after MLK Day, which was, I guess, apparently 2 months ago, depending on when this came out. Uh, but hey, thank you. Seriously, I appreciate coming, spending your time, giving us your knowledge. I wish you the absolute best in all your endeavors. It's super cool to watch somebody doing like life right. So keep living it the way you are. Those of you who are tuned in, thank you as always for hanging out with us. You know that I always say it. If we're going to take something from your life, these moments, we want to give you something great back. And Dr. Robin B did that. So make sure that you reach out, say, hey, thank you. Maybe go check out our app, drrobinbapp.com. Or .app, I think it was, and all the fun stuff. Check the links in the bio, but also if you know someone in your life that needs this episode, share it with them directly. Copy, paste, put the link out there like, hey, check out this episode with this cool guy, this cool lady. It's cool. A lot of fun stuff. Just set it out there. And then also please rate, review, and share it outside of that as well. But that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, make the most of your Oz Shift moments so you can make shift happen. It's Anthony Trucks and Dr. Robin B signing off. Hey, thank you for tuning in to the Oz Shift podcast. I pray that we gave something amazing to your life. And if you found this episode served you in some way, I would love if you could share it with people you know, people you love, as well as your community, because you never know who needs that simple little seed that can grow into something amazing for their life. And the actual training doesn't stop here. If you want your free copy of the show notes sent to you after every episode so you can get the major points consolidated down, simply go to textanthony.com and message the word notes. Till next time, make shift happen.